What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tribe of Millionaires podcast from GoBundance. I'm your host, Jamie Gruber, and I got to interview a lady that I got to know in our Emerge program, which she joined even though she already qualified for GoBundance Women. Her name is Allison Bridges. She's a Long Island girl. I'm from there. I can make that sound, I think. But either way, she's an amazing human being and a very successful entrepreneur. And we talk a lot about her roots in entrepreneurship, which really is, I think, most of us, and that is defiance and what that was for her as a youth, all the way up through owning a hair salon, how she scaled that and also built a hair care product line off of that, which I know zero about, but she obviously is the expert. How she designed that product, designed the bottle, got, the right formula to create this product. Really, really cool stuff, in depth. And more than that, she and her husband have built this empire together, and how that partnership has worked, how they've made that partnership work both personally and, of course, professionally. So really awesome episode. I know you'll all get a ton of value out of it. You make sure you subscribe, you like this episode, drop a comment below and let us know what you thought of it. But other than that, check out one of my favorite people, Allison Bridges. Welcome, Allison Bridges. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate
love having you. Love having you. It's going to be great to kind of dissect and deep dive here. And let's start there. You're Long Island girl, for what I know of you, but give us more. What's the story of you? Where'd you come from? What are you doing today? Give us kind of the whole run of it.
Sure. So I from Long Island, Babylon, New York, and went to high school here in Babylon. Still living in Babylon. Got kicked out of high school and had to take an alternative route for education, and wound up choosing the easiest thing I could find possible, which was hairdressing, and got my hairdresser license. And ultimately, I'm not really a great employee, so I wound up owning my own salon, which I has been working in for the past 15 years, but recently, within the past 4 years, have retired myself and have a manager working in that salon now, and just kind of basically mentor and help guide them in directions that they're going with the salon. And I have a hair care brand as well. And I'm home with my 4 kids and running to soccer practice and all the good stuff that you get to do when you have 4 kids.
Yeah, no doubt. What are the age range on the kids?
Right now, they're 16 down to 8.
Wow. Busy woman. Done? Or you got more coming?
Oh my God, done. Yes.
Done.
4 is definitely enough. It gets busier as they get older. So absolutely. Yeah.
Double what I have. So I don't blame you. We'll talk about real estate here in a second, but you kind of glossed over a point here that I'd be derelict as a podcast host not to ask about. You got kicked out of high school. What's that story? Give us a little bit more there.
No, I just, I didn't conform well with the sit down learning. I'm more of a hands-on person, started to just cut class. I was very bored. I didn't understand how this would relate to what was happening, in life, and I think also it was a difficult time to latchkey kid, parents divorcing, home a lot by myself. And so, kind of down the wrong path, I guess, so to say, for a little while. But yeah, I just always was pretty headstrong, and school just wasn't necessarily for me. So,
was there anything, and I get that, right? From an entrepreneurial perspective, that's like kind of a pure entrepreneurial trait, it seems like. Is there anything that you took from that, from your perspective, you and your husband maybe deciding together, those lessons, those learnings of what school was for you and kind of your disconnect with it or disenfranchisement with it? And now with 4 kids, is there anything that you've done differently with them, or are your expectations that they kind of follow that path? I'm kind of curious how that connection is, if there is any.
There is certainly a connection. I'm actually just starting to write a book about it, because there is so much that gets left out of teaching kids about money and all these different, businesses and things that they could be going into. There's so many more options than just the straight up go to college career path, get into debt. And it's not for everyone. And so right now my children are in private school, but they're in private school to learn the discipline. But if they don't want to go to college, I'm totally fine with that, as long as they're working towards something that they want that they've got to drive for. So I'm definitely starting to put things into our daily routine of getting them to talk about money, especially the older ones now that we're starting to look at colleges a little bit and what are we going to do after, what are you going to do after high school's over? But we're definitely starting to implement more things into our daily chats with them about money and business and things like that. And just so that they do know that they have other choices.
Yeah, that's incredible. Now, the book you mentioned and things that maybe kids don't learn about money. Give me a couple of things. What are some things that you're passionate about that you want your kids, like maybe tactical things that you're teaching your kids or that you might write in the book about?
Some tactical things, like a lot of it will be about mindset, also in conjunction with money and business and things like that. So right now we're writing daily intentions of what are your intentions for the day, and then I'll put my intentions too, so they actually see things that I'm working on, and then those things, whether they come to fruition or they don't come to fruition. And and then it gives us an opportunity to talk about different things around whatever it is that we're working on. And then a lot of my things has to do with money and investing and things like that. And then the other thing that we're starting to do is both of my older children work for my businesses. So one will package, I have a products company. So one will package all the Amazon hair products and ship them out. And so he gets paid to do that. And then my daughter works washing dishes and doing laundry at the salon. So they're going to be getting stock accounts that they're 25% of their money has to go in every week. And then they're going to be picking their stocks out or mutual funds, whatever they choose to buy on a weekly basis, so that they're starting to build their investments up. And then, a big family goal that I have is that I want all of my children owning a piece of real estate by the time that they leave high school. So everybody will be 18 by the time they leave high school. So I'm starting to teach them about like looking at the 1% rule or less, preferably less when they're buying, and maybe purchasing something that if they're going to go to school, that they're going to make money renting rooms to other people at the same time that they're going to college. So just trying to give them some different ideas of how to make money, that there's not only one way.
I love it. How do you enroll them in that, or are they? Do you, is it more just like, hey, look, you kids, you got to trust me on this, putting a quarter of your earnings into stock and owning a piece of property, you'll thank me later. Or is there a way to enroll kids? Because a lot of kids could be sort of like, yeah, look, I just want to have fun and play soccer or whatever. But what you're teaching is gold, and one day they will thank you, right? So how do you enroll them?
So yeah, there's some kids are a lot easier than others. Some just get it and they're gone with it. Like my daughter was like, oh yeah, I think I'll buy Nintendo stock this week because they were coming out with they're coming out with some new thing in a couple of months for Christmas. And so she's going to buy Nintendo, so that she's looking, to get a gain on that. The third child is very difficult, and he doesn't want to buy into any of this. And so he fights it tooth and nail. But I think but then he'll say something with one of his friends or whatever, and I'll be like, okay, you are actually paying attention to some of the things. So I think that they are paying attention, as you have it in your household, whether or not they're buying into it right away or showing you they're still listening to it. So.
Yeah, I hear a lot of kids, even myself as an adult, looking back at the things that that were present, like what you're doing with your kids around financial. That was not present in my household, but
Right.
Whatever example it might be, how later in life they do come back. Like they are listening.
Yes.
Would you say your third child is like you?
That could possibly be, yeah, it could possibly be. But even as a young child, I was paying attention to money.
Gotcha.
And you know what he does too? He'll flip like football cards. He'll buy it and then for whatever. So maybe he is a little bit more like me. He just wants to fight it a little bit. So.
Fight it a little bit of resistance there. I hear you.
That's okay though.
When did your entrepreneurial journey truly start? Was it when you purchased the salon, or was it back in high school? Did you know you'd be an entrepreneur? Did you always know I'm not going to be an employee? Like when did the epiphany happen that, hey, look, actually I'm much better doing for myself. I'm self-driven, self-motivated. I can do this on my own. Were there examples from your childhood, or did it not happen until you were in your 20s?
I think it was definitely earlier on, even from the time of being like 3 and 4 years old. I remember like people reading books to me, and I would just kind of like listen to what they were saying and be like, this doesn't make sense. Like what you're telling me doesn't make sense. And just wanting to lean into things that made more sense in the real world for myself. So probably I had some entrepreneurial things going on when I was in my teens, but when I bought my business and then realized I didn't know how to run a business, and we lost 75% of our revenue and customers in the first year, that was when I really got my, my bootstraps kind of business sense going. And, just had some tough times there in the beginning of buying a business.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I learned a lot peripherally from you, just observing and listening to some of your story when you were part of Emerge. And then later, and this is, I haven't told you this, and this
I
is
love
no BS.
Emerge.
Yep,
Emerge is awesome. It is so great. Emerges. Yeah.
I'm proud of it, and I love that you took a roll through it. But one of the regrets I have from Steamboat, I guess, like in my mind, I didn't quite grasp. I thought your husband was there for the event. You were there for Fambundance. So when I saw you that one night, it was a brief hey, and I'm thinking I'll see her this week. But then you guys left. I guess Fambundance was all you were there for. So
I know. I really wanted to stay for the second part, but it was all guys. I was like, oh, come on. That's where I wanted to be and hang out and stay is listening in on that. So unfortunately,
I know. Well, I regret not seeing you more is my point. But
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Fambundance and what you did there, and then we'll talk a little bit about Emerge as well. But you're so invested, it sounds like, in what your kids are going to do in the future. You lit up when I asked you about, like, how do you enroll the kids? Oh, writing a book, all this. What is Fambundance for you, or why that's such an investment in the family, and what did you get out of that, if you don't mind me asking?
Fambundance was great just because you're around other families, and I think it was a little bit of an aha for my children that we're not a lot of the families that we're around on a daily don't necessarily talk about these things that that you talk about at Fambundance. So being there and surrounded by that was really just a good eye opener. And they've definitely have leaned into some of the things that some of the leaders were talking about, and they're just, their eyes got opened a little bit, which I really was thankful for, because we do live in a little small town, and they're not, but yeah, Fambundance was great for just having conversations that maybe you wouldn't normally have at the dinner table. Like, they're just so much more in-depth conversations. Very cool. With the family, or that the kids had alone without you, with other kids. So
you mentioned Emerge. You jumped into Emerge, even though you were qualified to be in GoBundance Women. Mm-hmm. You kind of took that course, and between that, what you're doing with the family, you invest so much in yourself. It sounds like, personal development wise, mindset, growth, all of that. Why Emerge? Why not go right into the GoBundance Women's program? Why the continual investment in you? I'm just kind of curious your perspective on that.
Well, honestly, I have not. I've actually looked at, since I joined Emerge, that was one of my first steps into actually investing in myself, and realizing, like, as an entrepreneur, you feel very alone sometimes. And I've never really joined groups or been in any kind of masterminds or any kind of programs like that. So joining Emerge was like my first real kind of jump in, besides a few other little things I started that particular year. That's my college, like, that's my next level of learning, which has been really great. And I have found that I'm not always, I was afraid that I would go into GoBundance and maybe not click with people, or I didn't know what to expect, I guess. So it was a very light entry point where I could just go in. It was only a 12-week commitment to it, and I could test it out. And if it was something that I felt like I felt home with, then I would go and maybe see further about GoBundance Women. But it's been great, because I love the Emerge program. I love all the guys at Emerge. And actually, I have a business that's doing less than $1 million in sales. I was thinking about going back in and going in with only with that business in mind, and taking it to that next level. So, and then going to the women's group has been wonderful, because I got to go to my first event actually just this April. And even though I had never met anyone, just having people with like-minded goals and a drive, and it was like going to a family reunion or something and seeing people, but I've never had even met them before ever. So it was really a great experience to go into
Isn't that crazy? When you walk into that room, I know on the
Yup.
men's side, it's the same thing. You walk in, it's like a bunch of you, like, driven entrepreneurial millionaire women that you're hanging out with. And it's hard not to relate to these people. It's a very narrow avatar. But I do, like you, I was a W-2 guy, big time conformist, like, compared to you. You're the you'll do what you want to do. I wasn't that guy. I was the conformist. I got the job. But before GoBundance, it was the same sort of thing. Like, what is this like? It's like Illuminati. Like, what am I paying for? What am I, what am I a part of here? Right. And then to your point, you're in this peer-to-peer networking group, and it does just make you feel at home a bit. So, and yeah, it was amazing having you in Emerge. It was having somebody at your level, high level, there and partaking. It added a lot of validation to what we're doing. So I
Well, thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I love the structure that you have in Emerge, and that's what's really great, and definitely something that I kind of want to put back into my normal routine, is that extra level of structure that's there. So
I love it. Hey, for everybody listening, GoBundance.com/emerge. Check it out. You've got a millionaire
for
lady here
sure,
telling you.
go and do it.
So let's talk about your hair care products, or your hair care line. Is it a proprietary product of yours, or is it more MLM? Like, give me a little bit more on that. I was curious.
Yeah, no, it's our product. We have a chemist that formulated it for us, and then a couple other products alongside it. So I actually own a salon for curly hair. We specialize in curly cuts and styling curls. I do not have curly hair. My hair is pin straight, but the clientele were in need of somebody that understood curly hair, because 65% of people have curly hair, and they either don't know how to work it, or they don't know how to make it do what they want, or whatever. So we've definitely found a niche area. And so the product line was developed because of a need in the marketplace. There was missing products as far as what we saw, because a lot of brands were oversaturating with too many products, too many choices. So my product line is about simplifying your routine, simplifying your hair care routine. So all of our products are multifunctional. The shampoo is it's a cleanser, conditioner, and detangler all in one. The gel product is a primer, a gel, a cream, and has UV protectant all in one. So you can use 2 of our products and eliminate like 7 or 8 of another brand.
Wow. Okay. What's the name of the brand? We should share that.
Curlfection.
Say it one more time.
Curlfection.
Curlfection. Good name. Is that your name? Did you come up with it?
Yeah, well, it had actually became a hashtag years ago, that when people had a really good curly hair day, they would call it Curlfection. So we thought, oh, that's really great. Yeah, we'll just follow the hashtag. So we just trademarked that, and it's Curlfection.
Well, let's talk about it, because I mean, this to me, and I'm sure for many people listening, sounds like it's so big. Like, you developed a product. You said a chemist. Like, it just feels so intense. Like, how did you do that? Like, what are the first few steps? Like, what was the path like to building a product like this, a proprietary product or a blend? I mean, you did research, obviously. The Curlfection hashtag, 65% of people, I didn't realize, had curly hair. That's great to know. But what are some of the things you do to develop a product like that? Some learnings you maybe
Yeah,
had?
it's not, it sounds bigger than it is. And so it's, I looked at first, I was like, all right, well, I have to find a chemist who can formulate this. So I was looking all over California, and I'm in Long Island, of course. I'm looking all over California and searching all over the United States. And I wound up finding a chemist literally in Lindenhurst, New York, which where Lindenhurst,
Close.
New York is. And I'm in Babylon. So it is literally like we can go and pick up our products. So the chemist can formulate, and chemists can, break down products and put together products. So he would put together the product for us, new scents, different things. We would take it and we would give it to our clientele and allow them to test the products out. So and then, because it is formulated by a chemist and not just a kitchen sink kind of thing, we knew it was safe for the clients to use, because he was using all, approved products and things like that. So we settled on a couple of different formulas, and then I went to a container and packaging store, and they will help you put a label together and get UPC codes. And the The downside with that is that I wanted a custom bottle. So we had to order a custom bottle that came from the UK. I had to buy 10,000 pieces, but you don't have to do it that large. It can be a much smaller thing. It depends on the type of label that you want. And then we deliver the bottles to the chemist, and the chemist manufactures right there and then fills the bottles. And then we pick them up and we send them out. And my son will package them up for you if you order online, and they're in our online store. And that's about it. Unfortunately, I feel like I neglected that business a bit because people keep coming back. They keep coming back over and over again to buy the product at the salon. They buy 3 bottles at a time when they come. But I've lacked some knowledge in how do I take that to the next level. There's different, when you take it to market, with a larger retailer or something like that, there's a lot more there to know. And I just haven't explored enough of that yet, but something that's, something that will come in time.
So that's amazing. And yes, it will, because you're driven. And I'm just curious, is this was it a passion play? Was it more of I see a need in the market? Was it more of I think about it in real estate terms, almost like a vertical integration thing? Hey, I've got this salon. It would be great to have a product I could pair with the salon. What was the motivation for it? Was it purely just fun and passion, or I'm kind of curious.
It was more about clients just kept coming back to us I don't know what to buy. I'm at the store. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing here. And just as a mom working, because I was working behind the chair for, quite a number of years, I just wanted things simplified for myself. It needs to be straightforward, simplified, but I still want to look good. And I knew that they had that feeling as well. And so we created it so that it could just simplify their life. And it does. And then it worked out really nicely that the clients will be at the salon, they'll get their hair done, they'll pick up the product, and their needs are satisfied all the way around.
Wow, that's incredible. That's really cool. I didn't know that you had your own product, but that's really interesting. Yeah. You have this sort of natural defiance you talked about, from high school all the way through.
Yeah.
Where does that manifest today, if anywhere, in your businesses, in your home life, or is it something that with age just sort of calm down? And it sounds so, I don't mean define, but you have your own identity. You're a strong person in your identity. Where does that manifest today? Where does it help you? Where does it hurt you, if it does at all?
I think it hurts me in that sometimes it's hard to get out of my own way, because I'm trying to narrow down how many things I'll go after and start doing, because you go down too many paths, and you really wind up not going down too many at all. And that's where I think that emerge program of okay, now slow it down, let's get a little bit more clear on what you're working towards. And so in that way it hurts me. And then in other ways I find that it's good, because I'm not listening to everyone else, where there was a lot of years where people told me I was crazy for doing things. And I just ignored them, because they're not doing what I want to be doing. So I'm not going to listen to what they're telling me. So, and a lot of times it was family members that would say oh, you're crazy. You shouldn't be doing that. What do you mean you're going to buy rentals or whatever? You'll be fixing toilets, or that type of thing. And so at least I knew where I was, a little bit more clear of where I was going to be going. I had also had before I had bought the salon, I had started a housekeeping company, house cleaning. And so part of it, I would have to go out and learn how to, clean the houses properly. And I had shirts made, and, my mom was disappointed. She was disappointed that I was cleaning houses. And I will, plunge toilets if I have to. I will, do whatever it takes to get where I'm going to go. And that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me to drop down, however you want to look at it, but drop down from what I was doing down a couple levels to get the knowledge that I needed. I wound up selling that business, and right before I bought the hair salon. But I guess that's probably a level of defiance too, that it hurt a little bit that that she was kind of disappointed in what I was doing, that I was cleaning houses. Like she didn't want to tell friends, but now she tells friends, like, oh yeah, she had a housekeeping business and she had this or whatever. So I think that as far as the big picture goes, I knew I would always be okay. I'm always going to be fine. But it doesn't always look that way to other people around you. And you don't always have to justify it, I guess.
And I give you a lot of credit. Look, I grew up where you grew up. I mean, I moved away when I was 12 or whatever, but still grew up on Long Island. My entire extended family is still down there. And this isn't a knock at all, but on Long Island, but it is an observation I've had, especially that generation ahead of us, your mom, my mom, that age.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the word is vanity or a sense of like what is right, what is wrong, and judgment is so strong there. So strong, just a strong. The whole area breeds a strong type of personality. I mean, obviously, right? You look at you. You're a strong personality, but that judgment anywhere else may not feel quite as heavy as it does just sitting somewhere, off the LIE, like where you.
Yeah,
where
I would definitely agree with that.
Right?
There's a lot of, the way
Absolutely. It's supposed to be is the way it should be, and that's
yeah.
Generational judgment is heavy down there. So for you to do what you did and still have that judgment of your mom, somebody that you look up to, that's hard, but you push through and here you are today. So you've since pivoted to real estate, or at least you're in real estate now. Yes. I don't know if you've pivoted fully, but this is what you've added onto your repertoire. What does that look like? Why? Kind of give me a little bit more on your real estate business.
Sure. So I actually, it'll be 4 years this December. I actually retired from hairdressing. I stepped back from working behind the chair. I didn't want to be servicing clients anymore. And so we have a manager at the shop. So I was home with the kids doing all the kids things, and I started getting really bored. And I had kind of before that subscribed to the like Dave Ramsey style of how I retired early was I paid off my house, I paid off my cars, I got my personal expenses down low. And then that way the income from the salon would be able to cover me. And I was able to retire early, and my husband's already home. He's been home for 12 years now. But so I was bored, and I was in the laundry room day after day, just doing laundry with 4 kids. And I found Bigger Pockets, and I started listening to Bigger Pockets and started to read the books. And I was like, oh my God, like I've been missing out on all this information. Like I was so excited about it. And I still am, because there's so much opportunity out there. And so I got my real estate license, and we started investing about 2.5 years ago, after I had felt like I had taken in as much information as I needed to before executing. Yeah. And we started doing investments, and now I'm investing to add passive income. And my husband, my youngest is 8 years old now. So he before was a stay-at-home dad. But he's also super handy. So it was like kind of time for him that he needed to find more, purpose in his day and things. So he actually really enjoys fixing and, doing burr properties and, doing the maintenance stuff for the properties. So
wow, that's an expensive market that you're in too. Do you target certain areas, certain asset types? Is there any sort of niche that you're searching for with real estate?
Yeah, it is an expensive market. We started with burr properties. So I've got 2 burrs right in Babylon. So those are 100% cashed out, actually plus, because we took out an additional $40,000 on one of them, but they don't cash flow well. And I just feel like going into the market cycle of where we're at right now, I need to cash flow. So then we started doing out-of-state investing in Connecticut. And so we've got 14 units in Connecticut now, and those are more cash flow units. And then we've got the 2 burr properties in Long Island, and I'm looking for another one now.
Good
so we're just still starting out, but yeah.
Starting out, you have 16 total units. I mean, that's a pretty good portfolio. So
yeah,
I guess to your point, starting out, but man, you do, and you grow quickly. It sounds like it was only 3 years that you're up to that level. So amazing. Good for you. Okay, let's do this. Let's jump over to the one sheet type questions and kind of run through the different pillars. and see where you stand in all of these areas. So let's start with the first one, which is horizontal income. How many lines of horizontal income do you have, or passive income right now? And if you want to share, it's up to you. To what extent are you covered from an expense standpoint with, like, what percentage are you with horizontal income?
Well, percentage. So I'm still kind of getting used to the one sheet and writing it out. So I have, let's see. I have $233,000 a year in horizontal right now.
Gotcha.
And then I did one rental because I have my real estate license. I got one rental, and that was $1,600. So that would be my vertical income for the year.
$1,600.
So, yeah, so it went the other way. So that's real estate holdings of income after expenses. And then also I do actually keep a W-2 for my salon business, because it makes it easier for me to get. So technically it's a W-2, but it's passive income.
Right. Yeah, you're not there every day. You're not active in it. You just keep it that way for different reasons. Makes sense. Of your net worth, is it, would you call it like mostly real estate, all real estate, or do you value the salon in there? Like, how does that work?
I do value the salon in there. I think I undervalue the salon in there. But yes, I do. But now I definitely have a lot more real estate holdings, as far as probably my real estate is probably about more than half at this point.
So are you more inclined, maybe it's the equal, to go heavy on the real estate side, heavy on the product side with your hair care product, with Curlfection, or maybe a mix of the two? Like, where's your focus going at this point?
Right now, my goal was to have a total of 25 units for the year. So I'm trying to close that up with 9 more units this year. And I guess I'm 50% focused right now on putting some mindfulness things into the salon in our training program. Yeah. And then also I'm just doing some underwriting on properties to close out those 9 units for the year.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All right. Let's jump over to age defying health. Can you tell us about your daily diet, exercise routine? What do you do for vitality, I guess?
Well, I realized that I'm not happy when I have to go to the gym and things like that, but I do need to exercise. So I was listening to a podcast that was like, even if you can't do it the way you would normally do it, just do something, not nothing. So I was running 2.5 miles every other day, and I pulled my muscles. So now I'm just trying to walk 2.5 miles every other day and get it done within 25 minutes, and then yoga once a week. And then food wise, just trying to eat more salad, but it's hard, doing a lot of travel. So it's been a little bit trickier.
No, I get it. Trust me. Greens are something I lack and I need to be better at. I follow a guy, Dr. John DeMartini. I'm a big fan of his content about values and everything. And he talks about, he actually doesn't believe in the heavy workout regimen, right? Like the intensities, like you said, movement, do something, right? Yeah. Walk, all of that is good enough. And then you supplement that with a decent diet, which that's my struggle. Then I guess you're doing okay. So
yeah, trying, but
I know.
Always room for improvement.
You mentioned 4 kids, husband. You've been married how long now?
21 years.
21 years. Wow.
Yeah.
What is your current life happiness index?
Mine is currently at a 7.
7. What areas or area are you, maybe focused on, or you see as maybe could use a little bit of work for you?
I think probably spirituality.
Interesting.
We've definitely, we had left the church that we just don't go weekly to church anymore. And I think that's an area that I just don't pay much attention to. So I'm more focused on building with real estate or working on my other things. And so I've kind of neglected that area.
Gotcha. Going back to you and your husband, the decision for him to be a stay-at-home dad, for you to work, Talk to me a little bit about that. What
Sure.
precipitated that decision? It's a bit, I don't want to call it like non-traditional, but I guess it is. Like there's more stay-at-home moms than dads is what I mean about that. So talk about that decision. Like how did you come to that? That takes some communication because I know a lot of guys, me included, that might struggle to be manly enough to do what your husband did. So can you talk about
Yeah,
that decision and how that all worked?
absolutely. So my husband worked in a deli. He was a deli clerk, and I had the salon, and we were pregnant with my third child. That one's coming back again. So I was pregnant with him, and we got some news in the ultrasound that they thought that he had Down syndrome. And so it was just kind of a stressful time. And he had markers and things like that for it. And turned out he actually did not. But it was just getting to be too stressful with two other kids under the age of 5 and a newborn baby. So the day he was born, Christmas Eve, and that was the last day that my husband worked, was Christmas Eve of 2009. We just decided that he was going to stay home and attend to the kids so that I could focus on the salon and building the salon up. So yeah, and there's definitely been, struggles with, his staying home. It hasn't always been easy for him. He's more maternal than I am. I would definitely say that. But yeah, he's definitely had his struggles with that too.
Yeah, he and I have chatted. I met him in Steamboat
Yeah.
briefly. Like you said, he's a driven guy. He's, all of that, and it takes a lot. I mean, man, woman, it doesn't matter in my opinion. Unless some people are just cut out for it. They just love being around
Yes.
kids all day. And like most people in my world, your world, like your husband, you probably aren't that person, right? So to do that, to commit to the family, that's a major commitment. And like I said, it's a very masculine thing for him to have done. By the way, people I don't think realize in your part of the country that delis are like religion. They are absolutely the best in the world.
You have to go get a Long Island bagel, New York pizza, and get your deli sandwich. Yep.
And a hero, we call it there, or at least we used to when I was growing up. So, my uncles own a deli in Bayshore called Leggio's Deli. It's this little hole in the wall, nothing spot that just, I mean, it's actually kind of gross. Sorry, Uncle Louie and Uncle Joe. It's kind of gross, but people fill it up, man. It
doesn't matter. It's like a dirty spoon diner somewhere when you're on a road trip. You just stop off. It's fine.
That's it. They fill the place and they sell out. They do a great job. So delis are a big deal. All right, let's talk about contribution at this point. And you can share whatever you'd like here, how much you contribute, how much time, money, whatever it is, or what you like to contribute to, or on your one sheet, your give back ratio, any of the above. Just talk a little bit about your focus and contribution, where you spend time, money, and energy.
Sure. So I think before I joined GoBundance, I wasn't paying attention to that all that much. When I retired, I guess I was a little jealous of my husband being home with the kids and being able to go to all the things. And so I wound up I'm always class mom. I'm class mom. I would be at their, Tasty Tuesdays before COVID. And if they had an event, I made it to the event. And so just volunteering PTA kind of stuff, that sort of thing all the time. But as far as like financial contributions, we would do it once a year or something, a little, something, but nothing really too crazy. So now what I've been doing is once a quarter, and it's not, I definitely could be doing better with it. I think each year I'm going to add on so that I'm always growing that contribution level. But I do $500 to a charity that I feel like is doing something worthwhile. And so $500 a quarter is what I've currently been doing. So I've done To One Life, which is Tim Rose and Carolyn Colleen's charity. Donated to put a well in Africa. We've, just a couple of different things like that. So wherever we see, somebody is putting the money to use well, we've donated to them.
Very cool. I like that you're putting like a system in place for it, right? So
So then next year it'll be, $600 per quarter, and it will just keep going up. Yeah.
we tend to wait till the holidays, right? We tell, like I do, I
Mhm.
know, like around the holidays, you become really generous. 'Tis the season, right? But there's the rest of the year to dig a well or whatever. So I like the
Yeah.
system a lot, if that makes sense. How about your GoPod? How many are in your GoPod? How often do you meet, and what are you currently discussing right now?
Sure. So there's 5 ladies in our GoPod. We meet weekly, every Thursday. I actually just talked with all the ladies today, and they're awesome. And everyone's so talented and in different things, and it's just a really nice group. The things that we talk about, we talk about what you win for the week, what are you working on, things like that. If somebody's got a question or a problem, they might, take that and, whole time up, and we'll troubleshoot for them the best that we can and try to support them. And just, a lot of us, we have some overlapping interest in that. 3 of us are starting to do SDRs, so short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So we're all learning about that right now. Tim and I just bought our first one, so he's currently working on that one right now. So,
That's a big deal right now. We had Avery Carl on. She, of course, is
yes,
big in the short-term rental space. Shelby Osborne said she started to convert some of her units over to short-term and wants to continue to scale that. So big short-term rental is big everywhere, but and no
yes,
different in the women's group right now. So really cool
it
to
is.
see.
The only thing is, like, we were looking at it, and I was like, how does this? I don't know that this fits my lifestyle. Like, I'm not looking to add on more businesses, and so I just, having something that the nudge is there more often than with, long-term rentals.
True, true. Yeah, it's weekly or daily or every other day or whatever, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. How about bucket list adventures? What's up and coming for you? What are you excited
We
about?
are
One,
so
one, two, three.
excited. We booked a month in Europe. So next summer we have a cruise that leaves from Spain. We'll do a week in Spain, and then the cruise leaves from Barcelona, and it goes to France, Italy for 10 days. And then I think we'll do another week in Italy. And that will be our big, it's like a bucket list. That's the one thing that's been really great about GoBundance, is that they encourage you to do these bucket list things. So I've done more bucket list items in the past 6 months than I have in probably 15 years.
Like
So
what? What else have you done?
we went downhill mountain biking. That was really cool. Did that. My husband just took my son to, where is it? To go see the Steelers at the stadium, and
Oh, yeah.
those types of things. So it's getting the kids to talk about things that they want to do too, and just booking the trips. And a lot of my things was I would stay home a lot because I'd be working or always having a project and not saying yes to things. And so I've been saying yes to a lot of things, and I'm traveling every weekend to all different parts of the country. This month and next month. So it's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Getting around. I like it. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's
Very
get out
cool.
there and do it.
Why not? Like you said, it is important. Like when you think at the end of life, what are you going to really remember? Is it going to be
Yeah.
that, I didn't pay as much as I could have for this thing, or I saved money on that? Or is it going to be a month in Europe? I'm assuming with the kids, right? The whole family, or is it just you and
Yeah,
the
I guess
husband?
I'll bring them. Yes.
Are they excited? They're ready to go?
They're a little like, whoa, okay. They're a little taken back, but I think they are excited about it. And especially my daughter, because she'll be 17. So this is the
17?
summer right before she is finishing up with high school.
Yeah,
So we
you're
definitely want to,
literally,
it's like time's are ticking, and you don't even really realize it until you wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, there's only, there's 18 summers. That's it.
that's
You got
true.
18 summers. So you got to make the most of it.
Yeah, I think about that. My kids are younger, 6 and 3, but
Yes.
the 3-year-old is just getting Christmas this year. Like we've talked about it. He kind of gets
Yeah.
like list and Santa and all that stuff. But with the two of them, that magical Christmas, if you will, that might be 3 years, 6 and 3 years old together. It
Yes.
might be 3 or 4 years. And to your point, it makes you, yeah, I think hasten your action a little bit to get to where you're trying to get to. It puts a deadline in place, if you will. So
Yes.
yeah, no, very cool. All right. Well, let's wrap this up with a question from the GoBundance card game. This is the 6 of clubs, which I say on every episode. I say it's the 6 of clubs, and then I say it doesn't matter because it doesn't. But for some reason, I like saying the number. The question is, what is something? Did you answer this? Let me think for a second. Maybe not. What is something you resisted initially that ended up being exactly what you needed?
GoBundance.
Feels like I teed that up a little bit, no?
A little bit, but I think it's very relevant that I was definitely like hesitant to join, and it turned out to be one of the best things that I've done.
I'm going to ask you one more because I felt like that was a little bit, but I'm going to ask you this one. It's the 5 of diamonds, which again doesn't matter. This one, you ready for this one's
Okay.
heavy. What is your life's purpose?
My life's purpose.
Huh?
Such a hard one. I've always struggled with that one.
Me too.
My life's purpose.
As far as you know, we'll call it, right? Or as far as your best guess at it, because that is a
My
tough
best
one.
guess is, I think my life's purpose might be to help educate other hairstylists on what's possible.
Give me a little more on that. Why that? Is just like they're in that active income mindset without the idea that it's possible to do kind of follow your path, or
people kind of like, again, it's kind of the same thing as like, oh, if you say like, oh, I clean houses, it's looked down upon. People don't believe that hairdressers can make good money, and it's something like family members were like, oh, you'll do okay. You go be a hairdresser. It'll be easy or whatever. And you learn a lot of skills as a hairdresser, but I don't feel like people really understand the advantage that they have, and they can really, do well with it and become a 6-figure stylist, and they just don't know that it's possible. So that's definitely something that I'm working on, having, even just the people that work for me understand that there's a lot of possibilities out there and a lot of opportunities. You just have to kind of look for them.
it's a great name for an online course, by the way.
Yeah.
The 6-figure stylist. Maybe it's already taken or no?
Okay. Might be, but worth looking into.
Right? You could easily create that. I mean, I don't mean to just, but that's a great, like, if people ask you enough times, it's a great way to create maybe a little business out of it that serves people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
While keeping it passive for you, because that's what your values are, which is great. I'm going to ask you one more because I feel like the first one, this is a better version of the first question. I've never asked more than one of these, by the way. So you're
I get a lot today. I like it.
I'm hitting you with three. All
right.
So this it's the other side of that same 5 of diamonds card. And it's kind of the opposite of the first question. Is what is your spirit saying yes to that your mind is still resisting?
Large multifamily.
What is large? What do you mean by large?
100 units plus.
Okay. Walk me through that. What is it? Why is your spirit saying yes, but your mind is still resisting?
My spirit's saying yes because I know I can raise money. I have raised money. My mind is saying you're not equipped enough to do this, or you don't have the experience to do this, or whatever. So I feel like I'm just not, I got to get my mind out of the way and get going on spirit of, and that's a mindset thing, right? It's just overcoming that hurdle of, yes, it is possible. You absolutely can. And, you just have to dive in there. But I find reasons why I can't all the time. And that's what I have been holding back on.
It's funny. You got these ideas coming to me for some reason. You're inspiring me. But 6-figure stylist, that course, sell it for $5,000. Take that $5,000 from each person and put it into a fund where that money for them and on their behalf gets invested in deals that you're doing. So now you've got, a 506B fund with all of these stylists who are not only getting education on how to build their income, but also are investing in their future passive income.
That is definitely a good idea. There you go. Thanks, Jamie.
10%. That's all I expect on it.
Okay.
I'm good to go.
Let me know where to send the check.
Allison, thanks so much for being on. Where can people find out more about you, follow you, learn more, what products, anything you want to kind of plug here? Go for it.
Sure. Well, my salon is Curl Evolution, just curlevolution.com. And my real estate stuff is on Instagram, and that's Living Modern Rentals on Instagram.
Beautiful. Well, thanks so much for being on. It's always great connecting with you. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much.
I hope
great to see you.
Talk to you soon. You too. Thanks again.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know down in the comments, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. hit that notification bell so you can be informed on the next episode and other content right here on this channel. Thank you.